Mic check 1, mic check 2. If you are watching this live stream back on the replay, take advantage of the chapters and skip ahead to the start of the show. I'm still setting up and giving people some time to tune in. Hope you guys had an awesome day in the markets and an awesome day in life. Yes, yes. All right, let's get this social stream ninja going and share the stream over on Facebook, and we'll be starting the show shortly. Shortly. Ooh, all right, so that's Facebook. Let's get the social stream. Let's check this. All right, good. So we good there. Now let's get the social stream ninja going. I mean the Facebook. Let's share on Facebook. Let's get that done. All right, there we go. Got it. Yeah, guys, another one in the books. Another one down. A lot of companies gave earnings today, or it was a lot of different stuff going on in the market. The VIX is starting to get lower and lower. And then the Fear and Greed Index is reading greed. Greed is at 60. So it's a few different things going on. So we'll talk about that over the weekend. I'm just mentioning it now while I'm setting up. All right, we are live. Got it. All right, so that is Facebook. Also, guys, I wanted to say thank you. I appreciate you so much. We finally hit 100,000 views on the channel. So I wanted to share that with you guys and tell you thank you. Continue to hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel and keep tuning in. It means the world to me, and it is helping the channel grow tremendously. It is paying off, guys. So we got about 3 minutes until we start the show. And tonight is going to be fast. I'm going to try my best to make this fast tonight. The websites, I peeked at them ahead of time. They seem to be a lot better laid out than last show. Last show I had to take notes because they was all over the place. I didn't know where none of that stuff we was looking for was at. But tonight it looked a little bit better. I had a long day. The market, some of my positions went up, some of them went down. I had a lot of different stuff going on. So I got to make sure I adjust my portfolio accordingly this week before it closed out. So I got some things I need to do after this show and make sure I catch up on some rest so I can be up first thing in the morning. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those positions show up in the show tomorrow as the biggest loser, but we're going to see. We're going to see. All right. All right, guys, 2 minutes. We're just waiting 2 minutes to start at 11. 2 minutes. At least we starting the show on time now. So we won't have that problem no more. Ooh, that was tough getting this schedule going. Well, we got it. Now we here. Now we early, just waiting on 11. Those are the notes for when we do the sector performance tracker. So we have that. All right, guys, 1 more minute to showtime. 1 more minute. Hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you. All right. Let me see. We got the prompter ready to go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hate the fact I'm just staring at the clock. That's all I'm waiting on, guys. I ain't got nothing but this show for you. Here we go. 11 o'clock. Welcome to Market Recap Live. I'm your host, Joseph Martin. And thank God. Oh, thank God. It is Thursday, guys. It is Thursday. And tonight we are taking a look at ticker COP. You might know them better as ConocoPhillips. ConocoPhillips was formed in 2002 through a merger between Conoco Incorporated and Phillips Petroleum Company. And its main office is located in Houston, Texas. Now they're publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange and have a market value over 100 billion. Yes, that's billion dollars. ConocoPhillips is in the oil, gas, and consumable fuels industry in the energy sector, and they are listed in the S&P 500 index. Some of ConocoPhillips peers are EOG Resources Incorporated, ticker EOG. Occidental, yeah, I think that's it. Occidental Petroleum Corporation, ticker OXY, and Devon Energy Corporation, ticker DVN. We're going to review ConocoPhillips earnings, their website, and pull up the charts to perform a quick technical analysis. But before we do that, let's do our roll call and check our stream poll. We are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Let's get this chat going and tell us where you're tuning in from. Put a YT in the chat if you're tuning in from YouTube, FB for Facebook, and an X for X. While you guys are filling up the stream and the chat, here's the mission statement. We are building a community over here for people who want to take control of their financial situation by learning how to unlock the wealth building power of the stock market. And we are streaming Monday through Friday following trading sessions at 11 p.m. Eastern time. The U.S. stock market regular trading hours are 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. And there's a link for the New York Stock Exchange calendar down in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to these earnings highlights. So let's go here. Guys, we in business. We are in business. All right, let's get it. ConocoPhillips, ticker symbol COP, the $142.2 billion company, reported its second quarter 2026 earnings on Thursday, August 6th. They have a 52-week high of $135.87, which took place on March 30th, and a 52-week low of $85.57 that occurred on November 6th, which is a trading range of $50.30. And they closed today at $116.76. ConocoPhillips earnings report beat on the top line, reporting revenue of $19.2 billion, which was higher than the market expectations of $18.8 billion. And they beat on the bottom line as strong production volumes across the Permian Basin offset lower realized commodity prices. EPS was higher than the analysts and market expectations of $2.91 when they reported an adjusted EPS of $3.24. ConocoPhillips reported a GAAP net income of $3.9 billion, which is higher than the $2 billion net income they reported this same quarter last year. This represents an increase of 95%. So for the second fiscal quarter of 2025, their net profit was approximately 48.7% lower than it is compared to now a year later. The earnings were released before the market opened, followed by a 12 p.m. Eastern time conference call. As far as guidance, management reaffirmed full year 2026 production target to be between 2.33 million and 2.36 million barrels of oil equivalent per day. That 52-week low compared to today's closing of $116.76 represents an increase of 36.45% over a span of approximately 9 months. So if someone invested $1,000 in November at that 52-week low of $85.57, they would be seeing a gain of $354.50. Woo, we did that. All right, now let's move on, guys. Let's move on. So let's go here. Take that down. All right, we're good. Researching a company. Let's talk about why we visit these company websites. We're looking at the visuals and text to find answers to these key questions. What goods and or services does the company sell? How important are those goods and services to their customers? What makes this company stand out from the competition, and how well do they take care of their employees? Where we look, we search for those answers in four main areas: the homepage for the goods and or services, about us for purpose, vision, values, and mission statements, careers for employee benefits and opportunities, and investor relations for stock quotes, charts, and financial reports. And for your convenience, all companies featured in tonight's live stream are down in the description. Now let's go visit ConocoPhillips website. Here we go. Bam. Bring you over. There we go, guys. Take that down. And there's their ticker. All right, we're going to go a little bit faster tonight, like I was saying. So right here at the top, we see about us. So we need to go there, careers and investors. So everything we need is at the top. But let's go ahead and do what we do by browsing over the homepage. ConocoPhillips, energy for tomorrow and today. So again, what we doing about us, we'll come back to that. They have the stock right here on the homepage. Latest news and updates. Got it. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Company reports and resources, annual reports. So that's dealing with the investments. Managing climate related risks. So learn more. We have adopted a comprehensive framework with an ambition to become a net zero company for operational emissions by 2050. Okay, power in cooperation, our energy future. Invested in communities. Learn more. To be a good corporate citizen, we must first be good neighbors. Got it. All right, worldwide operations. So they have a map here for countries, 15 countries with operations and activities. So they break that down for you to look and check that out. Headquarters, production, and exploration and production. Got it. Okay, and they have the links down here at the bottom as well. So let's go ahead and go to about. Got it. So about us, ConocoPhillips is one of the world's largest independent E&P companies based on production and proved reserves. All right, so they got who we are. Let's continue browsing. This looks like a long scroll, guys. So remember, links to this website are down in the description. So I'm gonna move a little fast and then we'll come back and go to who we are if they don't have it on this page. Across our 15 countries of operations, our people work in a truly integrated way to find and produce oil and natural gas. Who we are, good. So they have another click to go learn more. So we're going to have to click on that. Our people, our strategy, performance, culture, and reputation are fueled by our world-class workforce, the heart of our company, and business success. Compelling future, a compelling culture, attracting a world-class workforce, employee engagement and development, compensation, benefits, and well-being. Okay, so we know where that is. That's under about us when we look for benefits, just in case we can't find it under, under careers. Safety, health, and security. ConocoPhillips photo gallery. Related stories. All right, so let's go back up to, oh no, what was that? We clicked on something. No, we don't want to do that. So go back up to the top. So where we're going is who we are. There we go. Who we are. We have an important job to safely find and deliver energy to the world. Our employees, contractors, vendors, investors, and community partners are critical to our success. We couldn't power civilization without them. Our mission, finally, we found something. So our mission, we exist to power civilization. Our vision, we will be the E&P company of choice for all stakeholders. Spirit values. We respect one another, recognizing that our success depends upon our employees. We create an inclusive environment that reflects the different backgrounds, experiences, ideas, and perspectives of our employees. All right, guys, now let's jump to careers and look for the benefits. They took us outside the website. So let's zoom in. There it is. It's right there at the top, guys, for benefits. So let's browse over this page and then we're going to go right to benefits. Exciting work, essential mission, veterans, compensation, benefits, and well-being. Connect with us. Ryan Lance, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, where we hire. Spirit Now Stories. And we're at the bottom. All right, so let's go right here to benefits. Now, it looks like they have the benefits broken down by different locations. So we're going to go to United States benefits. All right, guys, so this is what we found based on that. I don't think these are hyperlinks, but It looks like they've broken this down. We're just going to read the headlines, okay, or the headers. Below are some of the highlights of the group benefit plans available to most full-time U.S. dollar paid employees at ConocoPhillips. So compensation, health and wellness, medical insurance, dental insurance, insurance plans, short-term disability, long-term. It's a lot of different things here, guys. Financial benefits. I know I'm jumping around. Remember, links to this website are down in the description for your convenience. Also, right down here, it says read the 2026 benefits overview. So I believe it's something you can download. Maybe like a PDF. I've seen that before. All right, ready to move on. So let's close this out because they took us off the original page we were on and go right here to investors. So here we are, guys. We are on the investors page. We're going to browse over it. Here's the stock quote, but we're going to go use the link at the top when we get finished scrolling over this page. Investors. ConocoPhillips is one of the world's largest independent E&P companies based on production and proved reserves, which is what we read before. Investor materials, 2025 sustainability report, the stock quote, company reports, upcoming and past investor presentations, latest news, shareholder services. Got it. All right. So right up here where it says investors, let's go to stock information. Come on now, load up, load up. All right, guys. It did not load, so maybe it needs a minute. It looks like it's going to pull up a chart. And we've seen this before, but sometimes, there it is. There's the chart. So they don't have the stock quote here. The stock quote was on the other page that we were looking at when you first go to investor relations. Okay, so that's what we got on the website. So let's go ahead and move on to what I found in my research about the company. So let's go here. We already got that. Okay, cool. Clients and partners. ConocoPhillips does have clients and partners that are listed in the S&P 500. Some notable names include Baker Hughes Company, ticker BKR, Halliburton Company, ticker HAL, and SLB, ticker SLB. All right, now let's talk about the mobile limitations. Let's go there. Before we look at the charts, remember, professionals trade from a computer, not a mobile device. Mobile trading apps are limited and don't have all the features that are available on full trading platforms. Now, let's look at ConocoPhillips on the charts. So let's go there. Bam, 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 bam. All right, we're good. Guys, I peeked at this chart earlier. We in for you in for a treat because this is some work right here. Excuse me, this is some work. All right, so we're looking at ConocoPhillips on a 1 year daily chart. That's what we have pulled up right here. Here's their 52-week low of $85.57. Here's their 52-week high of $135.87. And here's the current close of today's close of $116.76. Now let's go to a higher time frame. So what we have pulled up here is a 10-year weekly chart. And we're going to confirm that this is 10 years. Absolutely, because here's 2016. Here's the 10-year low of $15.74 and the 10-year high of $135.99. Okay, so we can put me back on the screen, take some of these drawings down, and we're going to look for some levels on this higher time frame. No, that's not what we need. We need the price level tool. So here we go. I was moving kind of fast. Let me make sure I got it. All right, so here's what I wanted to share with you guys, because when I looked at this earlier, I said, man, this is crazy. So here's the thing. We already know that technical analysis is subjective, but another thing about technical analysis that I don't think I've seen a lot of people cover or discuss is letting beginners know, or traders discuss, investors discuss, that certain stocks behave differently. And you'll see that the more you look at charts, for instance, you'll have some charts where gaps happen more frequently than they do on other charts. So since they happen so frequently, they're less reliable as a technical analysis tool because it happens so much with that particular stock, the way it moves on certain time frames or financial investment. That's what I've seen from my experience. So like if you were looking for dojis, for example, as a strong technical indicator, but on a daily chart, dojis pop up all the time. It's not going to be as potent or convincing as a rare doji. Like that rarely pops up on the chart. So that was that. So wanted to share that with you, because when I looked at the daily chart for ConocoPhillips, they have gaps all over the place. So you'll see that in a second. So those are some levels that stood out to me right now on this 10-year weekly chart. Here is the simple moving average, the weekly 9-week simple moving average at $112.96. And then we have the 200-week simple moving average at $107.89. So right now, the current price is above both of those simple moving averages on the weekly chart, on the 10-year weekly chart. So we have those levels. I think we're good here on the higher time frame. So let's go ahead and go to the 1-year daily chart so you can see what I'm talking about. So recently, when we've been looking at different companies, we've been highlighting gaps. If we highlighted all the gaps that we see on ConocoPhillips, this whole chart would be yellow. this whole chart would be yellow. Let's go back to just count how many of these. Let me use a pen. Just make a little mark here. So there's a gap here. There's a gap here. There's a gap here. There's a gap here. Here. That's very small. I'm not even going to count that one because I can barely see it. There, here, 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 here. Okay, this gaps around a lot. ConocoPhillips does. So I'm going to be really picky and choosy about what gaps I pay attention to. And now that we're looking at a lower time frame, even looking at this from using the higher time frame, it doesn't hit these price levels exactly. Like it's close, but it's not exact. So like if we look over here, this gap here, yeah, like I already told you about the gap. So yeah, you're finding resistance here because it's already starting to pull back. So this would be a price level if we put it on the daily chart, but on a higher time frame, we didn't have a level there that stood out. So I'll put that price level there as potential resistance because it's firm resistance there recently. And that was in between a gap that happened over here as well. So that's like a resistance zone if we were to highlight that gap. But like I said, it gaps around so crazy. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. So there's a recent gap like right up in here. And it looks like that's where it found support. So I'm going to put one right there. You see how the wicks are hitting that? Let me highlight it. So we have a gap here. So this was resistance. And then it became support after that gap. So you have support here, came close to it. Then you have support here, closed below it, became resistance for a minute. You see what I mean? So that's what I'm seeing with ConocoPhillips. We have enough supports and resistance. I pointed out to you that it's a whole bunch of gaps. So that's what we got. That's what we got on the technicals for ConocoPhillips. I'm going to read some of these. So here is the candle for today, of course. So I'm seeing $113.26 as support, $121.39 as resistance. And today it closed below the 9-day simple moving average, which is $117.35. And the 200-day simple moving average is at $108.33. And I also use those as support and resistance. So that's where we are with that, with the technical guys. So we can go ahead and get the stock quote for ConocoPhillips. So I went to the settings on my floating data box and let's talk about it. Matter of fact, let's zoom in a little closer. Take these arrows and boxes off and zoom in a little closer and then mouse over today's candle. Here we go. All right, so ConocoPhillips opened today at $120. They had a high of $120.05. They had a low of $115.43, and they closed today at $116.76, which was a trading range of $4.62. The trading volume, guys, they traded 8.6 million shares of this stock today. Is that a big deal? Is that a little deal? We about to find out. So let's cut this floating data box off, go to settings, take that off, take me off the screen and let's go over here to our label. So the average trading volume for ConocoPhillips in a daily trading session, guys, is 7.8 million shares. Today they did 8.6 million shares. And of course, we know they had earnings today, and it was announced before the market opened. So even with earnings, this stock doesn't get a lot of volume above average. Or at least it didn't do it this time with earnings, it didn't. And then we had it slightly above average yesterday on this red candle right here. So that was Wednesday. So we did see an increase in volume from Wednesday to today. And both of those days were above average going into earnings being announced this morning. So put me back on the screen. Now let's talk about the volume percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, today's volume was higher than 72.2% of those trading days volumes. To be exact, only 70 of those days had higher volume than today. Boom, we got it. We done, at least with this. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's go here. Take that down. Yep. All right, we're good. We good. Community support. Here we go. Back to the community. I would appreciate it very much if you guys share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe. And if you wish to send a monetary gift to support the content, Cash App and PayPal links are down in the description as well as on the ticker on the screen. All right. And it takes $10 to become the first sponsor of tonight's show. Greatly appreciate it. There you go. Right down there. There you go. All right. Now, let's look at what the S&P 500 index did today by using the SPY ETF. This ETF gives investors an opportunity to participate in the broader U.S. market by allowing them to own a percentage of each company inside the S&P 500 index. Let's go back to the charts. So here we go. Bam, bam. Take that down and pull up the SPY. So here we go. We're going to go up here to our symbol box, SPY. Bam. Okay, starting to pull back, guys. It's starting to pull back. So let's take me off the screen and let's break this down. Here we go. So we are looking at the SPY on a 1-year daily chart. They have a 52-week low of $628.13 and a 52-week high of $776.85. Guys, it looks like, we look real close. What's the low of this candle right here? So the low of August 7, 2025 was $629.11. Okay, so we have 2 more trading days. So Friday, which is tomorrow, right? So Friday, so starting next week, right here is going to be our new 52-week low on March 30th. 2026 this year at $629.28. We keeping an eye on that because these 52-week lows are starting to roll off. Okay, let's look at the higher time frame. So we're looking at a 10-year weekly chart. What we're coming over here for, guys, we don't have historical price level data up here where we're trading at right now. We just want to get the simple moving average for on the weekly chart. So this is a 9-week simple moving average of $746.11 and a 200-week simple moving average of $549.85. Also on this 10-year weekly chart, we have a 10-year low of $208.38, and the current 52-week high is also the 10-year high of $776.85. All right, so when we put me back on the chart, let's go back to our lower time frame and let's zoom in. Let's zoom in. Here we go, guys. All right. So today's candle, we didn't put any levels on this chart, of course. Up here in this area, we see like a nice little space because it had ran up so tough. I like to have multiple candles crossing a specific price level at open highs, lows, and closings. And since it was only 2 candles, we just settled for the gap as support. And I'm happy with that right now. I'm happy with that right now. If someone wanted to look for recent support, like I said, what I'm seeing, I'm looking at this gap and I'm looking at this 9. as potential support and the other levels that we have on there. But what really stands out to me is this gap at $760.52. That's the top of the gap. Bottom of the gap is $758.58, $758.58. And then the 9-day simple moving average is $751.72. Also, our 200-day simple moving average is down at $702.46. But that's what I'm looking up. That's what I'm looking at up here as far as support and resistance. So, of course, the 52-week high, I'm seeing that as resistance. So we have our levels on the SPY. We ain't gonna spend too much time on it because we already got a whole bunch of levels. So I hope you can see that. So we got that. Let's go to the settings, come on our floating data box and get our quote for the SPY. So the SPY opened today at $770.21. They had a high of $771.82. They had a low of $767.46, and they closed today at $768.56, which was a trading range of $4.36. Now, the trading volume, guys, they traded 38 million shares of this ETF today. Is that a big deal? Is that a little deal? We're about to find out. So let's go up here and cut the floating data box off, and then we're going to take me off the screen. Let's look at our average trading volume in a daily session. Guys, the average trading volume for the SPY is 71 million shares in a daily trading session. Today, they did 38 million, definitely below average. And on Wednesday, they did 44 million. So this candle right here where they made the new 52-week high, we had higher volume, but both of those volumes are below average and the volume is decreasing even with the pullback, okay? So that's what we have there. Put me back on the screen. Now let's talk about the volume percentile. So, whoa, this is poor. Out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, today's volume on this candle right here is only higher than 2.8% of those 252 trading days volumes. To be exact, only 7 of those days had lower volume than today. All right, so that's what we have there for the SPY. So let's move on. Let's go here. Bam, 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 bam. Got it. All right. Sector performance tracker. Time to follow the money. Let's look at each sector inside the S&P 500 index to see how they perform today. All right, so let's go back to the charts. Sector performance tracker. Got it. So we're going to go up here and we're going to change this grid to sector performance. And we're going to talk about the SPY and all of the 11 sectors performance and our notes and all that other good stuff. So let's get started. So the SPY is down 0.2%. Energy is up 1.5%. Materials is down 0.9%. Industrials is down 0.9%. Consumer discretionary is down 0.5%. Consumer staples is down 0.3%. Healthcare is up 0.2%. Financials down 0.3%. Information technology down 0.3%. Communication services up 0.3%. Utilities down 0.6%. Real estate down 0.9%. All right, now let's open up our watch list and our notes. I'm gonna pull me on the screen. I have it. We're good. Here are our notes. They pull right up. So I already filled this out, guys. So over here, we can be specific. So here's our percentage change, and here are our top gainers, and you have 2 decimal places there. So since they look like they're close, since they're rounded off, you can see specifically what they were. So our biggest gainer for today is energy, the energy sector, ticker XLE, and they were up 1.48%. Communication services is our number 2 gainer. They're up 0.28%. Healthcare is our number 3 gainer, and they're up 0.18%. Now we're going to change this to ascending order, and here we go. So our biggest loser for today is materials, and they're down 0.89% today. Real estate is down, and they're our second biggest loser. They're down 0.08%. I'm sorry. They're down 0.86% today. And our third biggest loser is industrials, and they're down 0.85% today. So those are so close, they look the same when we round them off. If we look here at our notes, down 0.9%, down 0.9% because it's rounded off and they're so close, okay? But they're in the right order when we look at our notes. So let's go over to our notes and let's look at how these individual sectors have been performing this week as far as like the top gainers and losers. So let's start with communication services. So communication services was our number one gainer on Monday, our number two loser on Wednesday, and our number two gainer today. Okay, so consumer discretionary, number three gainer on Monday and number three gainer on Wednesday. Consumer staples, number two loser on Monday. Energy, whoa, energy's busy, ain't it? So they are number one loser on Monday, number two loser on Tuesday, number one loser on Wednesday, and our number one gainer today. Okay, so financials, quiet. Wow. Healthcare, they're busy too. So they showed up 4 times this week. So healthcare, number three loser on Monday, number three loser on Tuesday, number one gainer on Wednesday, and number three gainer today. So that's what we have for healthcare. Industrials, number two gainer on Monday, number three gainer on Tuesday, and number three a loser today. And this loss was less than 1%. They lost less than 1%. So compared to Monday and Tuesday, this loss they had today didn't wipe out those gains, at least from Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so information technology, biggest gainer on Tuesday. Other than that, a little quiet. So materials, on Tuesday, they're our number two gainer on Tuesday, number two gainer on Wednesday, number one loser on Thursday today, number one loser today, and only by 1%, less than 1%. They only lost less than 1%. Same thing here, real estate. They only showed up today as our top three or bottom three as the number two loser today. So that leaves us with utilities, guys, and then we're finished. So utilities, a number one loser on Tuesday and number three loser on Wednesday. All right. So we went through our biggest gainers and losers. We got our notes. So let's go ahead and move on. And that was our sector performance. Now we're about to do the biggest gainer and loser. So let's go here. Bam, take that down. Good. All right, biggest gainers and losers. Now let's look at the S&P 500 biggest gainer and loser of the day. First, we're going to look at the loser so we can end the night on a high note. All right. So let's go back to the charts. Bam, bam, bam. We'll leave that up until we change it. Okay, so let's go over to Market Watch, and I already have the S&P 500 watch list pulled up. Let's link it. We have it in ascending order already. So here we go. The biggest loser, guys, is Honeywell Aerospace Incorporated, ticker HONA. Guys, oh my gosh, they lost 23.16% today. Their previous close was $203.64. They closed today at $156.47. Let's pull up our calculator and do a hypothetical. Let's say somebody invested $4,500 and they lost that 23.16%. Negate it. Use the decimal. Guys, they would have lost $1,042.20 of their investment. So we add that back to the principal, $4,500. It'll tell us what they'll be left with. They'll be left with $3,457.80. Woo! All right, now let's go to the Analyze tab. And we can see that Honeywell Aerospace is in the industrials sector. So we're going to see how the sector performed that it's inside of, the industry and sub-industry that it's inside of, all right? So let's go to the Market Watch tab, go to the Visualize Sub tab, and let's exit and go all the way out to the S&P 500. So now I'm gonna take me off the screen and the sponsorship. Industrials, guys, that's what we're looking for. It is right here, guys. I'm seeing way more red than green. HONA is right here. I shouldn't have read that. Ticker HONA, Honeywell Aerospace is right here. So we're inside the industrials sector, and now they are in the aerospace and defense industry. So now we go in there, and guys, it's the same as the sub industry. It's exactly the same. Aerospace and defense is the sub industry and the industry. We can see it right here. So here's the sector. Here's the industry, here's the sub industry. And it looks like it's a mix. So we have 6 companies that's red and 7 companies that's green inside that industry and sub industry, since they're the same. Then we back out to industrials and we see way more red than green. Okay. So let's go back to the Analyze tab. Now, before we visit Honeywell Aerospace Incorporated website, let's go over the company profile. Honeywell Aerospace Incorporated official company name. Here's their website. Link to the website is also down in the description for your convenience. Let's read a little bit of this, and then we can go to their website. Honeywell Aerospace Incorporated manufactures and supplies aircraft components, avionics, engines, and systems for airframe manufacturing, commercial airline, military and defense, business aviation, and space markets, as well as other markets in the aerospace industry. Got it. Put me back on the screen. Take that down. Go to their website, and we have their ticker up. Absolutely. So, guys, we are good right here. So I believe I peeked at this earlier, too. Company, right under company, everything we need is going to be under here. So we have about us, careers, and investors, and you can see it. So what we're going to do, we're going to browse over this homepage, and then we'll start clicking to those locations. Every horizon, every mission, every day. See what drives us. Careers, investors, where others stop, we push. There's a video here. Who we fly with at every altitude. Commercial, defense. Oh, no. I didn't want to do that. We need a browse. Like, you got to be careful. Here it is. Here's the browse. So commercial, defense, and space. All right, got it. So discover. It's moving too fast. Let me take me off the screen since it's moving too fast. Whoa, guys, it's this website funny. Here we go. Discover the more electric aircraft. Electrification. Your safety, our priority. Guiding warfighter success, navigating resilience, support that moves aviation forward, asset availability, autonomous. Guys, this website is janky. I'm moving slow and it's jumping around. I just want you to know that's not me. News and insights, every horizon, every mission, every day. All right, so we're down at the bottom. Let's see if they have the links down here as well. Here's about us. Let's go there and put me back on the screen. All right, for flight, then, now, always. Since the dawn of aviation, we've protected and propelled the aviation industry forward. Flight is all we think about. Engines, avionics, flight controls, navigation, our nose to tail reach lets us connect dots others can't. Here's some stats about the company. Been there, built that. I like that. Autopilot, where it all began. Innovation, develop once, deploy everywhere. Airlines, defense, business aviation, space, advanced air mobility. That looks like a drone. It looked like somebody in that, though. Performance, partnership, progress. The aviation standards we set today create a safer world tomorrow. That's why we continue to push boundaries and exceed expectations every day. It's not just what we do, it's who we are. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel out and the community tremendously. I appreciate you. Every horizon, every mission, every day. We've read that a few times. All right, now let's go to careers. Let's see if we can find these benefits, guys. Always innovating, always rising. We obsess over customer outcomes. The work you'll do here starts with the customer. Innovate with purpose. Here you'll work at the systems level, ready to change the world. Rise with us. From campus to career to mission-driven impact. Where life and work connect. Keep rising. Start here. I'm reading a little slower, guys, because I'm trying to browse with my eyes to see if I can see the benefits. And I don't see anything that jumped out at me. So we might have to click on something, see what drives us. Find where you fit. explore our networks, see the full picture. Probably be under this. Build to grow together, browsing in our behaviors, obsess over customers. So this looks like what they expect of their employees, like the vision of the company and how they want them to look at what's going on. How we show up and move forward, our behaviors. So like their values. But I don't see the benefits. So that's role, that's life and culture. Go back to careers. Explore open. Let's go to see what drives us. I'm gonna try one more spot, guys. This looks the same as something we looked at before. So yeah, I don't see the benefits, guys. So let's go ahead and go to investors. That took us outside the website. So let's blow this up. Here's the stock information here briefly. Looking over the top. Let's browse over this page. There it is. So we're gonna go there, but let's browse over this page. Investor Day, company overview, some stats about the company, financial news, events, featured resources. Okay, good. We're at the bottom. Here we go. Let's go to stock quote and chart. So there it is, guys. Here's the stock quote. And as earlier, it looks like it might take a minute for the actual chart that they have available for investors on their website to load up. So I'm going to chat a little bit, talk to you. There you go. All right, so let's go ahead and go to our notes about what I found about the company to share that with you. So take this bright white out of my eyes, put that back on the chart. All right, so Honeywell Aerospace Incorporated, ticker HONA. When it comes to their goods and services, they manage aerospace systems, manufacturing across the commercial aviation, defense, and space markets, offering solutions such as, number one, complete avionics options, including cockpit displays and flight controls for commercial airlines. Number two, scalable propulsion products, including auxiliary power units, jet engines, and turbines for defense operators. And number three, optimized satellite systems tailored for communication, altitude control, and space navigation. Looking at their S&P 500 clients and partners, notable names include the Boeing Company, ticker BA, General Dynamics Corporation's ticker GD, and Lockheed Martin Corporation, ticker LMT. Now let's look at Honeywell Aerospace on the charts. I want to look up GD because I haven't heard of that before. Yeah, that's them. They good. They're there. All right, cool. Let's go back to HONA. All right. And you didn't even see that because I didn't pull it up. But all I did was pull up GD on the chart. So I'll pull it up again so you can see it real quick. This is what I did. Just GD and verify it. No, GD, just GD. There we go. So here was the ticker for the company we talked about with their clients and partners. Okay, now we put the ticker back in, HONA, and now let's go to the charts. So here we go. We got that there. Yes, cool. All right, we need to pull up the right grid. So let's go to Pro Market Closed. Pull up the right company, HONA, in the symbol box. Got it, and zoom out. Whoa, wait a minute. Ooh, guys, this looked terrible. Okay, so I'm not gonna go through this, and I'm gonna tell you why. Something's going on here. So maybe their ticker just changed because they don't have a lot of data here. This is not even a full year. So looking at the technicals for this would be crazy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take me off the screen because I look crazy right now. So let's go here and I'm going to pull up this ticker. On AI and ask them what's going on. Like, is this a new ticker? Did they change their ticker and they don't have technical analysis data? They don't even have a 52-week low. It's not even enough bars to create a 52-week low or 52-week high. Trading and investing is a new ticker with limited technical, let's say chart data, limited chart data. Yes. All right. So I'm not crazy. Let me pull this up so you can see it. Let's blow this up, collapse this, zoom this in. Is ticker HONA a new ticker with limited chart data? Yes. Honeywell Aerospace Incorporated is a newly independent stock ticker that began trading standalone following its corporate spinoff from Honeywell International at the end of June 2026. Because it only debuted recently, it has very limited standalone historical chart data. So that's what we're dealing with, guys. Did not know that, but that makes the show even faster. So now that we know what's going on, we can go back to the charts and at least like browse over it, but at least we know what's going on, okay? So let's pull the chart back up. So this is a 1 year daily chart, but it only goes back to, take me off the screen, June 29th. So we have very limited data here. They have a 52-week high of $266.62 and a 52-week low of $150.03. Now, my labels for average volume and all of that is based off 252 trading days. It uses these candles as bars. We don't have enough for that with the volume and all of that. So we're going to do what we can. All right. So that's what I'm pointing out now. Here's the closing price for HONA. I don't know why I keep reading that. Ticker HONA, closing price for Honeywell. Let's just say Honeywell Aerospace. Let's do that. So there's the closing price. Let's go ahead and put the gap on there. This just looks so sad with these with so few candles. It just looks so sad. Take those writings off. Let's go ahead and take this to January 1st, 2027. Change that color to yellow. Forgot to do that. So that identifies our gaps. That's what we do over here on this channel. Price level. So it's going to be the high of today and the low of yesterday. So there is the gap. And that's a nice little drop, ain't it? That's not little. Yeah. That's over $50 from the close of yesterday. The low of yesterday to the low of today is over $50 drop. Crazy. And they've been downtrending since June. This looks a little sideways, like a sideways trend, but it spiked up a little bit, started to pull back just in a few days, and then just dropped. So they had earnings less than 2 months after they had their own ticker. And somehow something happened that disappointed, but that's what we got. So they had earnings yesterday. So that caused, so that's what we got going on here. So the earnings were announced, yesterday after the market closed. So that's why we see it responding to whatever was going on with the earnings yesterday. So guys, we do not have a average trading volume to go by when we talk about the volume percentile, which is unfortunate. But we're going to go ahead and get the stock quote for Honeywell Aerospace. That's what we have going on here. If I'm going to put support on here, it's going to be this 52-week low, because this is where the price is trading at right now anyway, as far as resistance. Since this looks like a sideways trend, or that is trending sideways, another way to say that, I'm going to say that's resistance, because I'm looking back here at how these candles right here responded to it. This wick tested it, that wick tested it. So that's what I'm seeing there is possible resistance at $222.54. And then we already talked about the gap and support down here at the 52-week low as far as for right now. And then we do have a 9-day simple moving average, because we have enough bars for that. So that's at $203.09. But this is why the 200-day simple moving average says NA. We don't have 200 bars to get that. All right. So let's get our stock quote for Honeywell Aerospace. We can talk about the volume and we can move on. All right. So go to floating, apply, mouse over today's candle. So Honeywell Aerospace opened today at $155. They had a high of $167.31. They had a low today of $150.03, and they closed today at $156.47, which was a trading range of $17.28. Now, the trading volume, guys, they traded 20.6 million shares of this stock today. So we normally do, this is the big deal, little deal. We don't have none of that. So what we are going to do, we're going to go up here take me off the screen after we take off this floating data box. And then we're going to go right over here so we can talk about the volume, at least compared to yesterday. So yesterday's volume was 4.4 million, this red candle right here. And then today they come in with a whopping 20.6 million. So that's 5 times what they normally do. We can put it that way. 4 times 5, 20. There we go. So that's what we got there. Put me back on the screen. Again, we don't have the volume percentile because we don't have enough bars for that. So we can go ahead and move on. So let's go back up here to the Market Watch tab. Take this back to the S&P 500. Then we're going to go to market, go to the quotes sub tab. And now we're going to put this in descending order. And guys, the biggest gainer for today is ticker MSI Motorola Solutions Incorporated. All right. So they had a percentage gain of 8.2%. And their previous close was $438.14. And they closed today at $474.07. All right. So let's do our hypothetical, pull up a calculator, put this up. All right, cool. So we're using $4,500, I believe so. So if somebody invested $4,500 and they got that 8.2% gain, we're going to multiply 8.2, hit the percentage. They would have gained $369 on top of their $4,500 principal. So we add the $4,500 back to it. Total investment would have grown to $4,869. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, we done with that. Let's go ahead and go over here to the visual, no, not visualize, to the analyze tab after we select MSI. There we go. So MSI, Motorola Solutions Incorporated, is in the information technology sector. So we're going to see how it performed in that sector, the industry, and the sub-industry that ticker MSI is inside of. All right. So let's go back to the Market Watch tab. Now we go to the Visualize sub tab and take me off the screen. And we're looking for information technology MSI. So right here is the sector. Bam. And depending on how small their ticker is, I see it. I see it. Thank gosh. It's over here in communications equipment industry and the communications equipment sub industry. So it's the same and it's balanced. We got 3 red, 3 green. And these 3 companies, well, at least ANET and Cisco, they have larger market caps than MSI Light and I was reading those. FFIV, F5 Incorporated, and this is Cena Corporation. All right, so we seen how those industries and sub-industries perform. Let's go back to the sector, information technology. I think I'm seeing more red than green. It's just that these greens have so much, they take up a lot of space because of the market cap. But if I'm looking at the companies, guys, I got to say I'm seeing more red than green. And NVIDIA is even red. It just is hard to see. But they did close red on the day. They down 0.1%. All right. So that's how the sector performed. Let's go back to the Analyze tab. Now, before we visit Motorola Solutions website, let's go over the company profile. So their official name is Motorola Solutions Incorporated. Here's a link to their website. Let's read about the company and then we can go. Motorola Solutions Incorporated provides public safety, government defense, and enterprise security solutions in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and internationally. Got it. Put me back on the screen. Let's go to their website. Take that down. We already had a ticker up. Cool. All right, so everything we need, guys, I believe is right under About Us right here at the top. So we have About Motorola Solutions, Careers, and Investor Relations is right over here. So I peeped that out earlier. So put me back on the screen. Let's browse over this homepage, and then we'll go to those places. Of course, as soon as I start reading, you check that out. Introducing Safety Cam. Don't just record incidents, prevent them. Motorola Solutions 2 acquired Defend, an industry leader in counter drone technology. Ooh, counter drone. Accelerating Silvus Technologies growth. Our plan to scale and diversify manufacturing and supply chain operations to meet increased demand. Come on now, I wanted to move it, don't want to. Company reports Q2 2026. Building a safer, more sustainable world. I believe that's the last slide. Yeah. All right. Solving for safer. We build and connect technologies to help protect people, property, and places, enabling the collaboration between public safety agencies and enterprises that's critical to safety and security. Got it. Technology that's exponentially more powerful together. Radio, software, video security services. This looks like some of their clients and partners. Okay. A shared vision of safety and security. See what Safer can do for your industry. Featured news, explore Motorola solutions. So about us, newsroom, investor, careers, and shop. Let's go to about us. Solving for safer. I believe we read something like that before. Safety is the prerequisite for possibility. At Motorola Solutions, we build and connect safety and security technologies in our never-ending pursuit to help keep people safer everywhere. Got it. A safety and security ecosystem, because people and technology are stronger united. Critical communications, command center, video security. Our values drive everything we do. So we found the values: inclusive, driven, innovative, accountable, passionate, and partners. Building a safer future together. Here are some stats about the company. Over 23,000 employees, over 100,000 customers in over 100 countries. And they talk about the company revenue. The work we do here matters. See jobs. So here's history about the company. And here's some things they've been recognized for. Awards and recognition. Got it. So now we need to go, or want to go to careers. And why I don't see that all of a sudden where we are now. So we need to go back to the home. Oh, right here at the top. About us. There we go. Careers. Bam. We're looking for the benefits, guys. Voted #1 best workplace for innovators. Motorola Solutions is proud to have been voted #1 by Fast Company for best workplaces for innovators. Explore our featured jobs and join us as we build the future of safer together. Understanding what matters to you. Take time for yourself. Guys, this looks like the benefits. And there's a link right here. So we're going to click that. Let's finish browsing over this page. So we talked about values. Our differences make us stronger. Inclusion is a mindset that influences our strategy and puts people first. The start of an exceptional career begins here. So they talk about the different locations: North America, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and we are at the bottom of the page. So let's go to benefits, of course. So benefits, they just took us to that section, guys. Let me take me off the screen. Here's the overview that they give of their benefits. So we did find it. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go to investor relations so we can get ready to go to the charts. So there's investor relations. I believe we're already zoomed in. Investor overview. So where's the stock information up here? It says investor home. It says stock ownership here. View investor overview. I'm looking for something that says stock and chart. So Q2 2026 earnings. Explore our technologies. Some stats about the company. Values again. Stock quote right here. It's not a hyperlink either, guys. So it's not something I can actually click on. But here's the stock quote they have available on the website. Let me see if we can find like a chart. If we go to stock ownership, here we go. So stock information, dividend history. Let's go here. Yeah, guys, it doesn't look like they have a chart. Yeah, so here are the tools that they have available on the website. Doesn't look like they have a chart. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on and talk about what I found in my research about the company. So let's go here. We're good. All right, biggest gainer. So Motorola Solutions Incorporated, ticker MSI. When it comes to their goods and services, they manage critical communications infrastructure across the public safety, government, and enterprise markets, offering solutions such as #1, complete mobile radio options, including APX handhelds and Astro networks for first responders. #2, scalable video security products, including Avigilon, Avigilon, cameras, license sensors, and software for commercial facilities. And number 3, an optimized dispatch systems tailored for emergency response, situational awareness, and cloud management. Looking at their S&P 500 clients and partners, notable names include Verizon Communications Incorporated, ticker VZ, AT&T Incorporated, ticker T, and Microsoft Corporation, ticker MSFT. Now let's look at Motorola on the charts. So here we go. Bam, bam. We're good. Charts. Ooh, that's a rickshaw man, guys. I don't get a chance to say that candle often, but that's a rickshaw man. Those are long legs on that doji. Long leg doji or rickshaw man. One of the two. Look it up. Look it up. All right, so let's start going over this. That just caught my attention, blew my mind real quick. I got distracted, but let's get it. So we're looking at a 1-year daily chart for Motorola Solutions. They have a 52-week low, which you can see I'm not blocking it. 52-week low of $359.36 and a 52-week high that they reached today, guys, at $493.57. So let's go to the higher time frame. So now we're looking at a 10-year weekly chart. Let's confirm that this is 10 years worth of data. And guys, it is 2016 is buried behind these icons. They have, you couldn't see that. So let me do that again. 2016 is buried behind these icons. So this is 2017. We have it. So that's 10 years. We're looking at a 10-year weekly chart. Go over that again. So there we go. Now, they have a 10-year low of $71.24. They have a 10-year high of $507.82. All right, now let me take those boxes off and let's talk about the 9-week simple moving average coming in at $421.87 and the 200-week simple moving average coming in at $371.90. So it's on a nice uptrend here, guys. Definitely not confusing about that on the long term. And we have a price level here. I have no idea how it got there. I don't remember if we just did that. I don't remember putting a price level there on the higher time frame. But it works. It works. I don't know how I got there, but it works. All right, let's zoom in and let's look for some higher time frame levels. Yeah, guys. That's the easy one. And I actually tested that one today. These came just shy of that level. So because of that, guys, I'm feeling like this is more of a zone, okay? This is a resistant zone, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. If we use the high of this candle right, we get a lot of candles if we did that. I'm gonna focus on this one up here. So the high of that candle and the high of this candle, that's a resistance zone to me. So I'm gonna extend this over to January 1st, 2027. All right. And now I'm gonna put a price level at that candle's high. I believe it was that one. I can double check it, 480.81. So I go to edit properties. That's it. So it's like a $10 resistance zone. And the reason why I'm saying that, let's extend this over to the left. So we're going to go back to January 1st, 2024. That'll be enough to catch those candles. We can see that as it approaches that zone, it has a hard time getting above it. And when it did get above it, it rode the top of that zone. So if we just use price levels, then we would just have two separate price levels. But if we had did the zone, now we can see it can land anywhere in there and it'd be a lot clearer. That's how I'm seeing it. All right, now here's another one, but this isn't a zone I'm seeing. I'm seeing this as a price level of resistance right here. Resistance and support. So we can see, like, starting over here with these weeks here, it was resistance for 1 week on that first green candle that touches that line. Then when it got above it, it was support for about 3 weeks. Now it's in the middle of these 3 weeks right here. But once it got past those weeks, now it's at the highs, the opens, and closes of those weeks right there acting as resistance. Same thing. So over here, I'm seeing it as support. So that price level of $430.42 is significant to me from what I'm seeing on this time frame, on this higher time frame. Let me see this price level right here. Take that off. Let's undo what I just did. I'm seeing one more price level. Yeah, guys. So that's $364.06. So that's on the higher time frame. That's what I got, guys. Now let's go ahead and go down to the 1 year daily chart. See? Yeah. All right. So the first thing that's jumping out at me now, this company has less gaps than the first company we looked at, ConocoPhillips, where it was like a gap every few days. Now we're looking at a daily chart for MSI, and we can see a few weeks and sometimes months go past before it has a gap. This is an example of what I'm talking about. So right now it has a gap, and it looks like it has gaps around earnings. Okay. And I'm not talking about just today. So let's identify this gap first. So let's make that yellow and extend this over to January 1st, and then we'll break down what I'm talking about, because it looks like they had earnings today as well, or close to it. So let's check this. So guys, yeah, they had earnings yesterday after the market closed. So today the market was responding to it. So that's what caused that gap. That's what caused that gap. So right here, we can see earnings again. Let's take that. Right here, we can see earnings. Let's do the price levels first here. So that's the bottom of the gap, and that's the top of the gap. So we have that. So over here, we have earnings, and they were announced. Come on. They were announced after the market closed, and we can see the following day, it gapped down. Over here, they had earnings after the market closed. Okay, the following day, it gapped up. So most of their gaps are around earnings. Okay, so we can see that. Those are the price levels that I'm seeing for MSI, Motorola Solutions. I don't remember if we talked about the 200-week simple moving average and the 9-week simple moving average. So let's get that, and then we'll go back to the lower time frame. I got it. I just want to get this for a second. So let's go back to the 10-year weekly chart. So the 9-week simple moving average is $421.87. The 200-week simple moving average is $371.90. Now let's take that off and go back to the 1 year daily chart. So the 9-week simple moving average, the 9-day, now we're on the daily chart, 9-day simple moving average is $439.68, and the 200-day simple moving average is $416.06, guys. So it's definitely trading well above both of those simple moving averages, and it closed right in between, or nearly in between, that resistance zone we pointed out on the higher time frame and the gap that happened today. That's about the midpoint of that. That's what I'm seeing. All right, so let's go ahead and zoom in and get our stock quote for Motorola Solutions. Let's zoom in, make that a little bit bigger, and take those arrows off. We don't need those anymore. My nose is itching. That's why I keep wiping my nose. What's going on? Ooh, itchy. All right, so we go to the settings, cut on the floating data box. There we go. All right, mouse over today's candle. So Motorola Solutions Incorporated opened at $471.88. They had a high of $493.57. They had a low of $461.01, and they closed today at $474.07, which was a trading range of $29.56. Guys, the trading volume. The volume was 1.9 million shares of this stock traded today. So right off the top of my head, if this was in response to earnings, I would not be surprised if their average trading volume is 1 million shares or less in a daily trading session, even with that gap. All right, so let's took off the floating data box, take me off the screen, and let's get to it. So the average trading volume in a daily trading session for Motorola, guys, is 1.1 million shares. They did 1.9 today, so it was definitely above average. And yesterday on Wednesday, they did 1.2. That was this red candle right here. And it's been trading above that 9-day simple moving average. Let's pull up a trend line tool for connected to this one, connected to today for 12 days, guys. So it was trading above the 9-day simple moving average 11 days, and then it popped on earnings. So we got that. Put me back on the screen. Let's talk about the volume percentile. So out of the most recent 252 trading days, guys, today's volume was higher than 92.1% of those trading days. To be exact, only 20 of those days had higher volume than today. Woo! Guess what? We done. We are done. So we can go ahead and go here. Take that down, put that there, hit this. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you. And if you wasn't here at the beginning of the show, let me tell you, the channel has finally hit 100,000 views on the channel. Huge milestone for me. You guys have been a part of it. I appreciate you. Every view, every like, every subscribe goes a long way. Every share, every chat, every comment, it goes a long way. I appreciate you guys so much. You helping grow the channel and you helping grow the community. Okay, every Cash App, every PayPal, it all is much appreciated. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up the show. You already know. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you earned something. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. This Sunday, August 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we're reviewing this week's biggest gainers and losers, market sentiment, market volatility, S&P 500 sector performance, and creating a watch list for upcoming earnings. And make sure you keep tuning in weekdays following the market trading session at 11 p.m. Eastern time. Take care and God bless.